Welcome to the Tech Sales Funnels podcast, where we dive deep and answer the ultimate question, how did you hack into tech sales? Each week, we bring you inspiring stories, proven strategies, and insider tips from top performers who've cracked the code to break into tech sales and thrive. Whether you're just starting out, making a career pivot, or ready to level up, this is your go-to space for actionable advice and real-world success stories. Let's crack the code together, because hacking into tech sales isn't just a dream, it's your next move. Now with your host, the founder of Tech Sales Funnels and the tech sales hacker himself, Dayvisson DaSilva.
All right, everyone, welcome to the Tech Sales Funnels podcast. Today, I'm super excited. Here's Dayvisson DaSilva, the Tech Sales Funnels hacker. I help people hack into tech sales. That's my job. If you're in tech sales, my job is also to help you get to the next level. So now, listen, today we have a buddy of mine, a really good friend, Reginald. We worked together at Microsoft. He was the account executive. I was like one of his secret weapons. He's one of his solution specialists. Anyways, we got to work together. He has an amazing story. He's doing amazing tech sales. I really wanted to bring him in and interview him. So I'm super excited to have him on stage. I'm going to bring him right now, and we're going to get right into it. Hello.
Dayvisson, hey, what's going on?
How are you, man?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
I'm super excited. I see your background. I really love it. And are you in Dallas, Texas today, or?
Yeah, I'm based in Dallas still. We're staying here for the long haul, and my background is an agency. So okay. I like to have, an agency frame of mind, a creative agency to be exact. So yeah, I thought it'd be pretty cool.
We can talk about that. I know you're big into marketing and digital marketing, and you have your own agency and different things. Anyways, let's get started. Reginald, everyone listening to this podcast, the reason why I created is I want to inspire people. I wanted to give people hope. I also teach tips and tricks and strategies, right? Be very practical. Mm-hmm. But let's start high level here and tell us a little bit more about who you are. Who is Reginald? Let's take sales out of the way for just a second. Can you introduce yourself a little bit more?
Yeah. Okay. Sure. So I am, if you haven't noticed, originally from Los Angeles, California. Of course, I'm a Dodgers fan. Of course, I'm a Lakers fan. Of course, I'm a Rams fan. All of those things. But I was born and raised in Los Angeles. I went to college there, and then I went to school at Cal State Northridge. Got a degree in public health. So my roots and everything is from Los Angeles. And then I was led to come to Dallas, Texas a couple years ago. We're nearing 7 years in next January. So time has definitely, it's flown by, to say the least. And yeah, I've built a career for myself in the sales industry. In the sales role in the tech industry, to be exact. And I do have a passion for digital marketing. I'm into a lot of arts, and I'm a married man. I'm a man of faith. I am a loyal friend. I support my friends and so forth. So I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you. You are loyal. I love that. And for those who doesn't know, you're meeting Reginald for the first time here today. He's what you're looking. He's what you can see, and he's very transparent, very honest, very humble guy. I love getting to know him. Yeah, and I'm super excited to hear your story. So tell us a little bit more about how this whole tech sales started, because a lot of people kind of fall into it. Now these days, some people are actually planning college and getting into tech sales, but how did you start? Tell us a little bit about the story. Take your time.
Sure. So I initially got a degree in public health from Cal State University Northridge. I was set to be a health educator working in LA, and then I knew I would have to get my master's and get a doctorate and everything. At the time, this was about 2016, 2017 when I graduated, I was making roughly around $2,000 a month living in LA, and I had to choose between having a car or having an apartment because I could not have both. And I wasn't trying to have roommates. And like, I feel like I was growing up, I was in my early 20s and it was time to become independent and be stable. So I started to figure out like, what am I going to do? Like, I can't continue on this path. So one of my fraternity brothers, Grant Stevenson, shout out to him, he actually encouraged me to consider tech and specifically cybersecurity. I've never heard of cybersecurity. I was not checking for tech, did not consider that as a path. I was like, I'm going to stay in LA. It's entertainment. It's all the things I'm into. This is my degree, blah, blah, blah. But I decided to listen to him. You know, he's like a big brother to me, a mentor. And I decided to listen to him. I moved to the Bay Area, Silicon Valley, the beginning of 2018, no experience. I locked in a job at Checkpoint Software, the company that created the first firewall. It's an Israeli company. They treated me with so much love and welcomed me in. I'm just this 24, 25-year-old guy who doesn't even know what he's doing, but you guys are willing to give me a shot. Like, let's go. So I jumped in head first. I was super excited to work in the field and learn as much as I could. And I realized at that moment, I said, this could change my life. Working in this industry, being able to travel for work. I went to Israel like 2 weeks in roll for 2 weeks. And we went to the headquarters out there and it clicked. Like, if I stick with this, I believe I'll have a very rewarding career. Not only will I be able to afford to, pay my bills and take care of myself, I'll be able to do a lot for my family. I'll be able to travel the world, and I'll just have a life that's very self-sufficient and independent. So I stuck it out, and since then it's been a journey. So I'm pleased to stay where I'm at, to say the least.
I love it. So basically, like a paradigm shift, right? Like you had no idea that role existed.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, this can be it.
Literally.
How many years now? How many years have you been in tech sales?
It's been 7 years. It's been
7 years.
7 years. Seven's a number of completion and perfection. So I would say that rings true. 7 years of working in big tech, some of the largest tech firms in the world, and just constantly reinventing and developing myself. So we're year 7 right now.
I love that. Yeah. So if you're listening to this, if you get into tech sales, or if you are in tech sales, right, trying to ramp up, it's a constant change, right? And people talk about change, in the industry. Find an industry that goes through change. That's tech sales. Let's talk about that change, right? So you have been in different organizations, different companies. I'll have your LinkedIn open here right now. So let me ask you a question. Yeah, I did some research here, but I can't memorize everything. Now, inside sales, you let's say quote unquote entry level. Then you moved up all the way to AT&T. I mean, who doesn't know AT&T, right? How did you have to AT&T? How did you get that job?
Yeah, so one thing that I've really, really appreciated about my personality, sometimes that I didn't even realize was important, was the power of just being kind and genuine to get to know people around me. When you have a genuine personality, you genuinely care about the people that are in your path, that are walking, not that you're looking to get something from them. I think a lot of times with networking, it's almost read as, what can you do for me and what can I take from you? But when you genuinely have an interest about others and you see people that are interesting, or you see people that, have this aura about them that you're intrigued by, say something. And that's exactly what I did. I said something to Soretta Jones, one of my mentors, shout out to her. She worked at Checkpoint with me. We used to have an open kitchen for snacks. We used to run into each other every morning. I just started talking to her. I was like, hey, I'm Reginald. Who are you? Nice to see you. Oh, it's nice to see you again. Like every day I'm just running into her, getting coffee. And she told me about the program at AT&T. And she worked there for quite some time. She told me about it. She said, I think you'd be great. Like, you should consider. You would have to move to either Atlanta or Texas. It ended up being Dallas. And I was like, sure, I'll apply. She told me everything I needed to do. She really helped me with everything I needed to do, the application process, what to say, how to present myself, even how to move everything. Because I was moving from one state to another. So that was a big move. She was guiding me along the process, and I was genuinely thankful. Like, thank you so much. You don't even know me, like, to help me this much, but she was willing to just kind of guide me at that time. And I took it. I listened to everything she told me to do. I did it, and it worked. So the power of genuinely connecting with others, a simple hey can go a long way. I say that all the time.
A simple what? A simple hey can go a long way.
Simple hey can go a long way.
Did you just come up with
A little bar? I think
I
so,
love
yeah.
it. Oh, you must be marketing, man. Come on.
Yeah.
I love it. So a mentor, someone that he doesn't even knew, was going to be a mentor, became pivotal, right, for your next move. Now, I was going to ask you even more questions, but you broke down already all the things that she did to help you. So basically, she basically told you about the program, told you how to apply, helped you to get to the interview process and all that. That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah, really.
That's we need more people like that, right? In
Yeah,
the world, people
exactly.
that
We got to pay it forward. You have to pay it forward. That's the other part of it too. So I've done it myself in my career.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now we're talking about AT&T. You're laughing, right? How did you hack into Microsoft, man? Like
Oh man.
Microsoft is not to have like millions of applications all worldwide every day. Tech sales is almost like finding a needle, right, in a haystack. How did you hack into Microsoft? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So while I spent time at AT&T, I soaked up everything I possibly could. And I want to remind those who are interested in jumping into a different industry, specifically tech too, or an industry that is has a sales role in it or something that's getting them out of their comfort zone. You're not just taking on a role at a job and it's like, this is just my job at this particular company for now. It is very critical that you soak up everything that you possibly can, and not just how to grow your funnel or manage your pipeline or gain a bunch of leads and close sales. Like, of course, that's your position. You're going to do those things, but it's more about the career development, the personal development, and the lessons that you learn that you can take with you everywhere you go. It doesn't matter if it's a number attached to it. And I did that at AT&T. I built a brand for myself while I was there, which gave me the confidence to then
Mm,
say, okay, this is also during COVID, so it was a lot of changes in the way that we work and being in the office. And I was used to being around a bunch of people every single day, going to the office every day in downtown Dallas, to being at home all the time. And then I got married, I had a family. And once that shifted, I said, I think it's time for me to look into something different. I'm ready for a new challenge. And I looked into Microsoft. I've always been attracted to names that I know hold weight, not just because it looks good on my LinkedIn or my resume, but simply because I know that it's going to offer me a challenge that I'm going to have to grow. And Microsoft did just that. So started looking at positions. I realized they had an office in Las Colinas, which is exactly where I lived. I saw that they had a bunch of openings for digital account executive and specifically in tech for social impact. So I did my homework. My track record and my performance at AT&T and T and Checkpoint qualified me for the position. I built the personal brand for myself while I was there, and of course, a lot of people contributed to that and helping me get to that stage. So I was able to sell myself, and I
mhm.
walked in there into those interviews. It was a series of them. It took like 4 months.
Yeah, for me, yeah.
In that time, it took some time, right? I'm sure you know it took some time to get in. But during that time, I was very particular about how I was architecting my personal brand. And that's when I learned how crucial it is to have one and to
Mm,
let your work and experiences be able to be showcased when you're being interviewed. So I positioned myself to be able to look good on paper. But then when I actually started meeting with the interviewers and some of the directors and stuff at the company, I was like, I can be here. Like this, I can do this. So I was able to get hired in September of 2021, and my start date was October 4th, 2021. And yeah, the rest was history from there.
memorable, memorable date. Wow. That's amazing, Reginald. So you talked about personal branding, you talk about
Mhm.
um, being confident, right? To say, hey, I belong here, right? This is a place for me. So a lot of the job search, I think about mindset. It's a lot of to do with that. So you sound like you're very confident at that
Mhm.
time, and you're able to do it. Good job. That's awesome. Um,
Thank you.
yeah, it's. I mean, getting to Microsoft is the top 1% of right of
Yep.
looking at Microsoft. I mean, you
Mhm.
can literally tell yourself that you can get anywhere, right? That you want. That's basically what it is.
That's true.
And it sounds like you did, great job there. And you moved on. Like, can you summarize a little bit more about, what happened after Microsoft and what are you doing now? Like, you're still in tech sales,
Yeah.
so it's a wild career, right?
Yeah, it is a wild career. It's constant twists and turns. And coming into Microsoft, the name alone, the company, the prestige, the excellence, the pay, everything you could imagine it was. Like it was the highest amount I've ever been paid. I would say the salary was negotiated, some of the numbers coming into it. I even learned how to negotiate for my salary at this time. I've never done it before, but this
Right.
is the first time that I practiced negotiating for my salary. I negotiated for my bonus. I
Nice.
negotiated for my stock. So they gave me an increase on all three of those. And I was reasonable too, because I did have to understand at that time I've only been in tech sales for 3 years, which is, still a decent amount of time. That's still like between entry level and mid
Mhm.
level. So I
Mhm.
couldn't ask for everything just yet, but I also realized the potential of what will come. And I also had the best territory in America at the time. That's what they told me. I was
Yes.
coming in and I was inheriting a territory that was the best out of all six of them in the United States. And, it was a lot of expectation to keep that momentum, which I did. So it was tough. And that's the thing. Like a lot of times we do have the desire to get a higher pay. We want to work for a big tech company that has a name. But a lot of times it may not just be a good fit either. So during the
Mhm.
time while you're there, things are good. You're presenting yourself well and you're selling and you're closing deals. And we did that. Like there was not a quarter that went by that I did not hit quota. I hit quota the first quarter I came in. And then I believe I almost doubled it like 2 quarters in. So it perpetually just kept growing and growing. And we made a ton of money in Americas too, the territory I had. But I started to realize the culture fit and the way that the company operates, it actually didn't align with who I am as an individual.
Mhm.
Before I was just so happy to get a job that I didn't care about a culture fit. I didn't care about how a company operated. I just wanted to be there because, my gosh, I'm working in tech. Like this is my dream at this point. Like I want to do this. But as we came out of COVID and as I started to approach 30 years old, some of these things that didn't matter to me in my early 20s when I started were very
Mhm.
critical for me. And me being, I'm a man of faith. So I believe in, things aligning how they're supposed to and things being, like architected or created by through God's will. So I started to feel a little uneasy because I'm at Microsoft. Like, where else will I go? But at the same
Mhm.
time, I'm realizing that there's a disconnect for me and my team and like why I'm here. So it started to get a little uneasy, and I wasn't sure what the outcome was going to be, but I wasn't willing to leave. So I ended up getting let go, like 2000 January 21st, if I'm not mistaken, 2023. And I was completely shocked. I was like, what? How? My numbers are there. My performance is there. Like my collaboration, Dayvisson, you were on my team. Like we met, we talked, we strategized, we took customer meetings, we did
Oh.
everything. So, but that cultural fit kind of caught up to me before I dealt with it. And this is no back talk or no issues with the company. Like Microsoft is
Mhm.
Microsoft. It's been there before I was even born. I just knew for me it did not work anymore. So when I got let go, I did not get let go without retaining revenue. I left with I left with a ton of money. I can't deny that. I left with a ton of money. My quota was about my payout for my quota was coming like a week later. That was a 5-figure amount. And then, of course, my stock and my 401k was nice. So I wasn't leaving with nothing. But my pride, my dignity, and my respect for myself was questioned. I questioned those things because how could I, Reginald, who has had a successful career, how could I get let go? I don't get let go from companies like this. Like I'm resilient. I survive. I figure it out. Like how could I get let go, especially during the time when everyone's getting laid off? So that led me to a very interesting point. I was turning 31 that year, and I was just like, what am I going to do now? Like I have no clue. So what did I end up doing? I gave myself about 2 to 3 months, just allow myself to feel how I felt, go through all the motions and everything. Of course, talk to my wife about it. She was supportive, and we just managed it, like, of course, bills and everything was paid. Thank God we didn't have any um, huge blow to the financial aspect of our lives. And then I would say right around March, I started to apply and get back out there. And I was very aggressive with my search, which led me to New Relic. So New Relic is a great company also. I worked there for 2 months, went out of town to their headquarters in San Francisco, had an amazing cohort, amazing leaders, management, leadership, C-suite, and then we got let go 2 months in. We all got laid off. And I was like, oh, it was like another blow. I was like, oh, a blow. So then after that, and while I was starting a New Relic, I went ahead and launched my own business, which is Rich and Friendly Inc. It is a digital marketing agency, which is currently going through a rebrand, but we are 100% on the marketing side. I've decided to bet on myself and not rely on the company and the changes that's happening. And I wanted to just believe that I can do something myself. I don't have to rely just on a position or a role, because these positions and roles are not forever. Even though I still desire to have a position like I have now, I can't solely I can't depend on these roles that they'll always be there, or I will always have a place there. So I took a bet on myself. I started my own agency, hit the ground running, and been building that since. We just hit a 2-year birthday. And then I had to go back to the drawing board in terms of my career. So I ended up a year later, I ended up at Spectrum, did that for 9 months. I knew I was going to leave there. That was just a transitional period. And then I landed at Film Forward.
Wow.
So I know that was long-winded, but yeah, it's been a journey.
Wow. Nate, talk about a roller coaster.
Yeah, right, exactly.
That's a real life right here. My friends listening to this podcast right now, that's the life of a tech seller. Hey, which, by the way, that's why we're in sales, right? We can bounce back. We're resilient. We can go through the refining fires, and we can come out stronger, and with more clarity and knowing exactly what we want. It sounds like you are in a good place right now. Feel forward.
Oh,
What
my
do you
God.
do? What do you do in your role? Senior manager in sales. What do you do?
Yeah, so senior manager in sales. And if you don't know what that means, I have the role and responsibilities of an account executive, or an AE for short, but I definitely have more decision-making power. So that's where the manager aspect comes in, because I am managing like a sales team, which is myself at this point. I am the sales team at Film Forward. Our company is a startup. It's relatively small. I work very directly and closely to the CEO, Emily Best. She is phenomenal, one of the best managers I've ever had. Totally trusts me and believes that I can execute and deliver, empowers me, invests in me, and ensures that I can get the job done, make sure that any roadblocks, any barriers are out of the way. And she built this company from an idea that she had. So we have Seed and Spark, and we have Film Forward. Seed and Spark is a creator platform for independent filmmakers. These are world-class films that compete in, some of them have been Oscar nominated. They are and part of Sundance festivals and so forth. So what we do at Film Forward, we curate those films through one of our deliverers on the Film Forward side, and we create curriculums. These curriculums are for replacing traditional corporate trainings with short story driven films. So our content is designed to spark conversation, drive real behavioral change in areas like leadership, belonging, performance. And what makes us different is our data engine. It turns engagement into insights that help companies build stronger, more human workplaces. So when you have storytelling, filmmaking, and facilitated led groups in a corporate setting that actually encourages people to leverage their soft skills, leverage their emotional intelligence, bring those to the forefront, and it's led by your senior leadership in your company, this
Wow.
is what's going to change the
Much
culture
needed.
of an organization,
I love it. Much needed. Especially when there's so much training, right, to be done.
Right,
And as a tech sellers, we dread sometimes because we have so much to do and
right,
gotta do
right.
this thing. I can see the film forward being like game changer.
It is. It is. Check us out. We're on LinkedIn. Yeah, it is a game changer. It's
I'm not even like I'm 100% serious here. Like this is awesome.
Yeah, we have no competitors. Honestly, we have no true competitors. It's never been done
Wow.
before. And it's not even about that. It's just we genuinely care about the cultures and places that people work. You take care of your people will take care of you. And if you don't take care
Mhm.
of your people, then we've seen companies and how those turn out. A lot of talent gets lost. So yeah,
Wow.
shout out to Finn Ford.
Wow, I love, man. You see, I told you guys the amazing story here. Reginald can go on and on. Like we are
Mhm.
almost like 30 minutes in. Um, wow. So there's so many angles we can take this conversation. First, not because you are in a top tech organization that first doesn't mean that you're gonna be, safe or the culture. People talk about culture. Culture that has so many layers. It can be
Right.
the company culture, the manager culture, the team's culture. There's so many layers, right? So sometimes it just there's no fit, and there's nothing to do with you or your ability to work or to perform. But
Exactly.
wow, what a great story! I we're everyone. I'm just going over here. We're talking about TechPoint, AT&T, Microsoft, New Relic, opening his own agency, and now kind of like being like almost in a perfect spot of creativity and sales and marketing, and that's awesome, man. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I appreciate even being here to talk about it. I love the fact that so many people have the interest of getting into tech. There's so many positions that are being opened. Obviously, a lot of them are AI related, which we should not be afraid of those things. We should actually learn and have those skills to make sure that we're qualified to receive those positions because there's hundreds of thousands of roles that are being opened and created for people who have the desire to be in tech. And we should not run away from AI or anything that seems out of our league. We should learn those skills.
Mm,
Working in tech will change your life. Davidson can attest
mm,
to that. It will. It will change your life.
yeah. That's exactly why I do what I do, man. It changed my life. Now I'm helping other people,
Right?
transition, help other people move up. Uh, it really did. Now that you mentioned about AI, I don't want to dive into AI too deep because we don't have a lot of time. But
Mhm.
outside of learning AI and being, up to speed on that technology, what other suggestions and recommendations you give for people who are trying to hack in tech sales or who are trying to survive in tech sales or trying to better up their careers in tech sales?
Yeah. So for the folks who are trying to get into tech, a lot of times I hear people saying, well, I don't know if I'll be good in sales or because I'm speaking from a sales perspective. So
Mhm.
sales is the front lines of every organization because we're the revenue drivers and we're for the most part we're keeping the lights on. Of course, partnerships and sponsor all those other things, but sales is the front lines. A lot of people I've heard say, I'm an introvert, I'm not good at sales. Actually, introverts, from what I recently found out, can perform better than extroverts at sales. The reason being because introverts pay more attention to detail and they
Mm,
a lot of times will take the amount of time that they need to prepare, research and study and then be able to analyze so then that makes their selling tactics even stronger. Extroverts oftentimes get pulled into the let me appease and connect with the person first without having done the proper work. I'm not saying
mm,
extroverts are not capable of doing that, but that's kind of standard what the approach that extroverts takes compared to introverts. So for those who are considering tech sales, do not think that what skills you have or because you think sales looks one way that you're not qualified for it. You will actually be very surprised. There's all different types of personalities that are in sales that thrive. There's people who are much more reserved and quiet and not really social that can outperform me and have outperformed me. I've worked with these people and they're brilliant, and then but we all have skills that can be used for the greater good. And for those who are looking to up their career, I would say the biggest thing is you have to believe and know that you are valuable enough and worthy enough that you can be in these companies too. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter where you come from. You can get into these rooms. You can get these jobs too. Doesn't matter what your name is. For those who are from different countries whose names aren't American names and so forth. I mean, you may or may not already know, like, embrace yourself. Be yourself and know that you will find the role or there are people who are looking for a person like you. So don't run away from your authenticity and always keep your brand true to you. Don't fabricate or change or shift who you are, even working in a company where you don't feel like you're celebrated or welcome. Don't change who you are to try and people please and appeal to other people. You have to maintain your true, authentic core self in every role that you're in, even if it means people don't like you and they're going up against you. And then we're talking about jobs. Yes, be likable. Yes, be personable, but don't change who you are in essence because you're getting paid a lot of money. Don't ever do that. And that's probably why I didn't stay at Microsoft as long, because I wasn't willing to do that. I wanted to remain true to myself and my God. And that's what I did. So with that being said, don't run away from the things that seem uncomfortable and that are going to challenge you. Don't think that your skills are not valuable enough to land you a solid role. And always make sure that you genuinely are taking interest in other people and connecting, because a simple hey can take you a long way.
Another, you just dropped another one. My job. Wow, that's amazing, Reginald. And I'm glad you mentioned about authenticity, because I read a quote the other day. I thought it was really powerful. It's like, corporations are trying to be more human, and humans are trying to be more corporate. And that's like, right. So you gotta remain to who you are, and you don't have to become a corporate, right? You're not a business, you're a person, and you're, at the end of the day, it's who you are, and you have to remain true to that. I love it.
Exactly.
You are a truly representation of that. I'm glad you spoke about that, because you are one of the best examples that I've seen.
Thank you.
About that, yeah.
As you are.
Right. Let's just jump in and have this conversation, and that's what we did. So I appreciate you, Reginald, for the time. I'm not worried at all about what you're going to do in the future, because your future is bright, and tech sales and marketing. Thanks so much for joining today. Everyone listening today, go back and listen to the career, a roller coaster career in tech sales, and then how everything happens for a reason, right?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
That's it. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for listening today.
Perfect.
Thanks for tuning in to the Tech Sales Funnels podcast, where we crack the code and uncover the strategies to break into tech sales. If you found value in today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who's ready to hack their way into this exciting career. Remember, hacking into tech sales isn't just a goal, it's a mission. Let's keep hacking, learning, and winning together. Catch you next time.